Hey guys, it's Kylie, and in today's video, I'm going to explain to you whether I think Genie Plus is worth it at Disneyland. So with everybody talking about Genie Plus right now and how financially it was very beneficial for Disney as they just released their earnings, I thought I'd go through and share my experience using Genie Plus, specifically at Disneyland. So you might have seen a vlog I had recently sharing my trip to Disneyland, and on our second day at Disneyland we decided to purchase Genie Plus and we used it for the day, and I'm going to go through the different rides that we were able to go on. So for context, we used this on the 3rd of January, so it still had a lot of its New Year's crowds, and Disneyland was pretty busy. Most of the lines were averaging over an hour for their regular standby line. So we decided, let's give Genie Plus a try. We had already been there for a day, saw what it was kind of worth it, and that plenty of people that had Genie Plus were passing us in the lines. So we decided to give it a try and to see how many rides we could get on with it. For this day specifically, we started at Disneyland and then we park hopped over to California Adventure, just so you understand timing on what the rides we were looking at were and when we were able to book different things. But I'm going to go through all the rides that we were able to get on, my thoughts, and kind of some tips and tricks for using the app. But if you guys are interested in more Disney videos just like this, definitely hit the subscribe button, turn the bell so you get notified every time I upload, as I post a ton of Disney content on this channel. So be on the lookout for all of that. And I just finished posting all of my trip videos if you're interested in checking those out, or even just seeing some of the ride clips from the rides we were able to go on. So for Disneyland, Genie Plus does cost a little bit more. It's $20 per day per person. So there's 3 of us in our party and we all got Genie Plus. So when we were able to book initially, so once you scanned into the park, you were able to book. I didn't end up doing exactly when we scanned in the park. We were one of the first people, like we were the first tickets scanned in the park in our lane. So I could have booked it right once we scanned in, but I actually waited until we were standing in Tomorrowland to book it while we were waiting for rope drop to actually happen. So the first one I actually booked was Indiana Jones. However, that morning Indiana Jones didn't open right away. So I had booked an 8 a.m. opening for Indiana Jones, and Indiana Jones didn't open right away. So we actually got a multi-experience use one that you could use on anything that is on Genie Plus, anything besides the one that costs extra for Lightning Lane. And I'll talk more about that later because we didn't use that till later on in the day, but we had that. Once I noticed that that switched to multi-experience, I then booked my next one. For my next one, I booked Big Thunder Mountain. However, we were rope dropping in Tomorrowland. So when we first rope dropped, we were able to go directly to Space Mountain is where my sister went, and me and my mom went to Astro Blasters, and then my sister came over and I even joined us for a round or two of Astro Blasters. So we were able to get multiple rides done before the day even started. Once we did Astro Blasters, we also went on Star Tours. So we were able to get into a bunch of rides, and then after that we decided to go over towards Big Thunder Mountain, and that's when we really started using Genie Plus. So we had a Big Thunder Mountain for pretty early in the morning. I believe it was like 8:15 or so. So we used it as quick as we could. We got on Big Thunder Mountain, and while I was in line for Big Thunder Mountain, I booked our next one. Our next one was Haunted Mansion, which at the time had the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay. And for Haunted Mansion, we went right over there after Big Thunder Mountain. We were able to get right on it, and actually it really didn't even have a wait, so we didn't need it, but we got right on it and did that. After that, Indiana Jones was back up and running, so while we were in line for Haunted Mansion, I booked my next one for Indiana Jones, and we were able to get back onto that. From Indiana Jones, we went over to Star Wars Land and went to Smuggler's Run. So all of these, those first few, we did right one after the other. I booked a time that we were able to just get right in line and go on it. Smuggler's Run, we had a slight wait for. I think it was only like 15-20 minutes that we had to wait for the next time. However, we wanted food anyway, so we were able to stop. We went to Ronto Roasters and got some food, which was really nice. So there are sometimes you have to get a gap. We kind of looked at this as we wanted to get on a bunch of rides, but we didn't exactly care what order we did. So a lot of times we just booked whatever the next one was available. So if it wasn't a ride we've already done, we just booked whatever was next and available. So if we went from Big Thunder to Haunted Mansion to Indiana Jones, because then it was back up and running, and then straight to Smuggler's Run because that's what we wanted to do next, and it was kind of the next one available. From Smuggler's Run, we were able to do a few other smaller ones. So we did It's a Small World. From there, we went to Roger Rabbit. And then from there, we went to Astro Blasters again because that's one of our favorite rides. And that time, the line was much longer, so we were able to use that Genie Plus for it. So it was between 10 and 11, and we decided that we had done everything we wanted to at Disneyland, and we were going to park hop over to California. So we started to book our passes for California Adventure, and the app completely adjusts to you. So it knows that you can't park hop till 1 o'clock, and you are able to just book those passes for right after 1 o'clock. Once we started booking Genie Plus, I ended up going on the monorail, which you saw in the vlog, and then we went and hung out at the hotel, and then we went over to California Adventure for a little bit after 1 o'clock. I believe our pass was like $125 or so. For that, we did this in 2 parts. We got my sister an Incredicoaster pass, and then we got me and my mom a Toy Story Mania pass. So we were able to split up our passes, and we could each individually get what we wanted, and we were able to do that. One cool thing is, if you go 2 hours without booking a pass, so if you book a pass and then 2 hour passes before your next pass, you're actually able to book another one. So before we even got to California Adventure, because we had booked the one for California Adventure pretty early, we were already able to book another one. So we were able to book a Goofy Sky School while we still had the Mania and the Incredicoaster. So when we went over to California Adventure, we already had multiple passes that we could use, so we went over to Pixar Pier area and were able to use all those different passes. From there, we decided, because of the day before we were already at California Adventure, that we just were kind of done for the day and didn't really want to ride any more rides. And the only ride that I really wanted my sister to go on, because I wanted her opinion on it and I don't really like the ride, was Guardians of the Galaxy. So she used her multi-experience on that. We were able to watch the show in Avengers Campus. We were able to just hang out at the park. And she went on Guardians of the Galaxy. And by 3 o'clock, we were completely done. We had done tons of rides and we had gotten on everything we wanted to by 3 o'clock. The one thing I will say, Guardians of the Galaxy, she used that multi-experience for that ride specifically, as most of the wait times were getting longer and most of the Genie Plus was starting to fill up. So once park hopping does start at 1 o'clock, a lot of them do start to fill up in the afternoon. So Genie Plus at that time had run out of passes for Guardians of the Galaxy, but we were able to still go on other rides if we wanted to. We had booked one for Soarin' and decided not to go. We also had the ability to book other ones at Disneyland, or there was a few more rides at California Adventure we could have booked Genie Plus rides for. We just decided not to. We decided we wanted to go back, hang out at Downtown Disney, and then go back to our hotel and hang out that for our last evening, get some food and hang out there. So by 3 o'clock, we had gone on 10 different rides just using Genie Plus, plus we were able to go on other rides in between that we didn't want to use Genie Plus for. We watched shows, we got food, we were able to actually even hang out at the hotel for like 2 hours. So there was plenty of things that we were able to do in between our Genie Plus, and we were able to do 10 rides by 3 o'clock. Park opened at 8 o'clock, and that's when our first one was, and by 3 o'clock, we had already completed 10 rides. You could have done more. The parks are open till 11 o'clock that night, so we could have done a lot more, but we decided we didn't want to. We decided to just end it at 3 o'clock. So this just shows you the amount of things we were able to get. At $20 a person, being able to go on 10 different rides. So my sister went on 10 rides for $10 a person, and me and my mom had the ability to, because we had 2 multi-experience passes that we didn't use. So we'll just say 10 rides a person. That's $2 per ride to be able to use a fast pass and pretty much cut the line. I definitely think it's worth it. At Disney World, it's even cheaper. And I'm not going to speak directly to Disney World because your experience is a little different. It's much harder to park hop. You need a little bit more time. The parks are farther apart, things like that. But for Disneyland, I would say it was definitely worth it. We were there at one of their peak busiest times. It's Christmas week. Their crowds were crazy. They were at pretty much capacity. There was people everywhere. And we were able to get on 10 rides by 3 o'clock. We were able to get the most out of our Genie Plus, and I would definitely recommend it. If you want to check out my blog, see some of the clips from the rides that I went on, definitely check that out. I will have that linked up in the iCard. I definitely think this was a great experience. I'm looking forward to maybe giving it a try in a future Disney World trip just to see what it's like there, but I think that's going to depend on park crowds. At Disneyland, my goal was to get on every ride, as Disneyland's not a place to go to very often. At Disney World, I usually take it a little bit slower. We usually have a longer trip. Like this, we only had 2 days at Disneyland and California Adventure to do everything. We usually take our Disney World trips a little bit slower, and there's not as many rides that I really want to get on. As there, Disneyland, most of the rides I'd never been on, or it's been years since I had been to Disneyland, so I wanted to get on tons of rides. at Disney World, I don't really care as much about the rides. So we might give it a try at Disney World, but this is my experience at Disneyland, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried Genie Plus either at Disney World or Disneyland, what your experience was with it, and if you would recommend it for people looking to travel, especially at a busy time, or even at a not busy time. Would you recommend it to those looking to give it a try? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later.